After reading the article, The New Censorship, about Google and its role in censoring the internet, I have to say I agree with a lot of his concerns. Um, Anytime somebody has unchecked power or a company has unchecked power, there runs a heavy risk of abuse and using that power to further your own interests. I do think that the tone of the article is a little bit more doomsday than what may be the case, but then again, I'm also learning that a lot of my preconceptions about media and people's how people use the media to influence others has been kind of skewed. So maybe it's me that's it needs to be more doomsday rather than the article being too doomsday. I do like the author's statement. When he talks about Google, he says Google's blacklisting practices put the company into the role of a thuggish internet cop, a role that was never authorized by any government, nonprofit organization, or industry association. It is as if the biggest bully in town suddenly put on a badge and started patrolling, shuttering businesses as it pleased, while also secretly peeping into windows, taking photos, and selling them to the highest bidder. That's kind of an extreme analogy, but I think it makes sense. The way our information is sold to ad companies, the way Google sets everything up, the way Google decides what you get to see and not see. I mean, they kind of are the internet cop. I don't think Google's the only one that does this, though. I mean, I think everybody works to minimize exposure that they don't want the public to see and maximize exposure that they do want to see. Kathy Griffin and CNN is a prime example of this. Kathy Griffin went way too far. She posted those pictures of her holding up a severed head of Donald Trump. It was tasteless, it was wrong, and everybody reported this except for CNN. CNN, who's supposed to be this hallmark of news, barely glossed over it. The reason is because she was employed by CNN, so it was going to put them in a bad light. I do think that having Google decide websites is good in a way, because they are the biggest company. They have the easiest access to all of this. They are a lot more effective at doing it, but I think there needs to be some sort of oversight. I don't agree with that the government should censor the internet any more than Google censors, but I think that there needs to be some oversight to just make sure that things are staying on the up and up. I do believe, the unspoken message with Potter, he just assumed that, if he's talking about messages the media wants us to see. The flip side of that is that there's messages the media doesn't want to see. Refer back to Kathy Griffin. I really, really liked that article just by virtue of the fact that it's bringing to light just how powerful Google is. Google portrays itself as a sort of philanthropist company that's just doing good things for people, but it is a for-profit business, and I think the article does a really good job of at least bringing the issues to light. I think it's kind of interesting because we talked about our PLEs. My PLE, Google, is probably one of the biggest collect profiles for my PLE. I can't say that it's going to stop. I'm more aware of what goes on, but the fact is, especially living in Alaska, working nights, giving it a Google or doing an internet search for information is the quickest, easiest, and most effective way to find out what I need to know. It's interesting to see how far everything goes, because it seems like our society is getting more and more polarized. So as we get more and more polarized and resistant to alternate ideas and resistant to change, I think we're going to see more and more issues such as Google censorship, where companies no longer just provide a service, but they provide a service while also pushing their own agendas.